Today I am super excited to show you my workflow in the new version of Affinity. Affinity released the version 3 and I am super excited because it combines all the 3 apps that I used a lot in my workflow into a single app, and it's now free. So if you're new to my channel and you want to learn a little bit more about Affinity, I used to create videos in the version 2, and moving forward I like a lot this new version, and it's also free. So if you want to go ahead, download it, or if you're already downloaded and follow along, what I want to show you today is just a few things to get set up initially, and we'll do a simple pattern, clean up more art as I always do, and create a simple pattern, create a template just like I've done in the earlier videos in Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo V2. But now we have Affinity by Canva is the version 3, and all the apps are in single apps. So I am super excited about it, and I am excited about the efficiencies that it brings into my workflow, and I hope you can see and find some efficiencies as well as you watch this video, and hopefully you learn a few new things. So I like this new interface. This is the first interface. If you just download it, you may not have recent or even my presets. You may just have the regular presets that come with the app, and I'll show you how to get all your stuff in here, and then my templates the same way. So if this is the first screen, so here you can go to my templates. If you've already have some templates like I have a folder where I have a lot of the templates that I use often, and you can just click here in the plus sign, add a folder, go find your folder, and you add your templates, and then you have them available. And then I like the fact that you can just go home here, which is this one. You can open a folder from here, or you can create a new document. So I want to go ahead and open a document here from my pictures, my scans. Let's take this one again. I know I've already been working with it, and that's super exciting. And now it goes here into the pixel persona, which is the equivalent to what used to be Affinity Photo. Here in the vector persona, it's what the equivalent of what used to be as Affinity Designer. The layout is what used to be Affinity Publisher, and I added, if you just downloaded, you may not find the slides here. I just added it because this is what used to be that export persona, and I used it a lot, so I just wanted to have it available here. So what you do in order to have it available is you go into the 3 dots here, and here in the slides, just turn it on, and just that's it. It'll show up in here, and then this is basically the same as your exports. You just export layers or create the different slices that you want to do. And this Canva AI is new, and there's a lot of different functionalities that are the object selection tool in Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo V2. It's like they have like a little owl, and it was a relatively new feature as well. And then I haven't explored these ones yet, but what I wanted to do today is to show you the same process, but now it's a little bit more streamlined because everything is in the same app. So I am super excited, and I hope you're excited as well. So let's go back to the pixel persona. Okay, a few more things before we go through that, because you see that I already have my favorite layout that I have in my previous videos using the version 2. So I have my macro, my library, and my assets. So in order to get all your assets from your Affinity version 2, you go here to File, you go here to Import Content, and import your content from Affinity V2. So these imported my macros, and then it also imported my assets, all the different assets that I had. And I try to keep these relatively short and clean, but all my assets are here. So you'll see that this is usually, it looks exactly the same as the V2, except for some of these export, a few things are a little bit different. But if you see the earlier videos, I just set up the workspace the same way, because it gives me a little bit more comfort as I find all the new things. So I haven't uploaded any of my swatches yet. Yeah, so I do have, see, it imported a lot of the swatches also from my Affinity V2. So I have a bunch here. This is the Benjamin Moore colors and some of my other favorite colors I've downloaded from different places. So yeah, once you run these, yeah, let's get with some of these. As you go to file, import your content, a lot of your content is already going to be there. So I think the process is exactly the same, so we'll go through it very quickly. So first, let's clean up the art, and for that we go to the pixel persona and studio, switch in default studio, change to pixel for bitmap files. Okay, that's fine. Yes. And then what I usually do, and have you seen in a lot of the other videos, is I duplicate the layer. I always like to keep the original, and then I add a new pixel layer. So down here in the same space, add a new pixel layer, and then select the, I think this is going to be these icons are a little bit different, but here in the fill tool, if you click on it, you go to the flood fill tool. That's the bucket tool. The one thing that I like about this new version, it's this little floating bar that you can see all the different tools and icons for those tools that are nested in each one of these that have the little arrow. So I kind of like that. For example, this one in the paintbrush, if you click on the paintbrush, and then it gives you all the options here, so you don't have to go all the way to the original. So you can see them here, and I think you can move these around, make it easier for you, whatever, closer to your working area. So I am very excited about this little functionality too. I think it does add a few efficiency seconds as well. So as I always do, go my pixel layer, I would like to have something kind of dark here, so that I can see the changes, or that I can see that I removed everything. So I'm gonna select this flood fill tool and fill that layer. I'm in the pixel layer that I just added, and I forgot to change the color here. I did pick the color, so let's pick the black first. Pick the bucket, then select the color, make sure it's the black, and then click on the area that you want to fill, the layer that you want to fill. And now it's black. If you look at it in here in the layers panel, it's black. Here in the background, I want to do a little bit of adjustments as well. So I go back to my object selection tool, my adjustments tools, the levels. I want to get rid of some of these shadows. So for that, I adjust the levels a little bit lighter. I kind of like that. And this is something this is a little bit different. So in the version 2, it will create these preset right as a clipping mask, but when you look at it as a clipping mask for that layer, it won't let you merge. So you have to keep it above it, and then you can merge that layer, that adjustment layer, with the one right below it. So that's something a little bit different. Just so you are also aware of this process. And the next thing, again, it's in the selection tools. So here we have this object selection tool, which we've used in the past, and these are a little bit more associated with that machine learning. So for example, if we do the object selection tool, we have to go to the settings and change and allow this segmentation. I'm not going to do this yet. I'm just going to go ahead and use the flood select tool, which is like the magic wand. So here's the flood select tool, and I want to select all the whites. Okay, but again, same as I used to do in the earlier version. These usually I change it to 5-10%. Make sure it's contiguous, so everything that it's contiguous, it's going to be selected. And I need to hit enter on that 10%. Escape to deselect, or Control D to deselect. Change the tolerance to a lower tolerance, and let's see. Clicks on anywhere in the white, and I kind of like the selection and it's looking good, so just delete. and the selection looks good. Now I can go ahead and with this magic wand and the same 10%, I can select all these other areas on the inside, and then I want to go here to the lasso tool and deselect. In order to deselect, for to clean up that area, hit Alt on your keyboard, and okay, so that looks good. And then hit delete, go back to the magic wand or flood select tool and select the next white area and hit delete, and the next white area, hit delete. And I'm just trying to clean up all these areas inside as much as I can. And the next thing that I want to do is to, once I have all these areas clean, I want to go ahead and run my trusty. Let's say that everything's kind of cleaned up and it's looking good. And now I have these, I think I can clean this up in this area as well. And maybe here. Okay. And maybe even this little bit. Okay, so now it's looking good. Let's see. Yeah, control plus and minus will give you the zoom in and zoom out, just like in the earlier version V2. But now, can you see these little halos that now need to be removed? I am super excited to go to my library and just run my trusty macro. Again, it's strengths, feathers selection, inverse this selection, and delete the extra. And I have other videos where I showed you how to do that in the V2 version, but it's the same thing here. In here, the only difference is that you're going to have to go to the pixel, and here, yeah, the pixel selection, and then here's where you can find the grow and shrink feather. So let's do it manually once, and then we'll run the macro. So control and click on the icon of that specific layer. It makes the selection. So you go to the where it says pixel, and here in the pixel you go to the pixel selection, grow and shrink, and I want to shrink by 2 pixels, so -2, apply. And then I want to go back to pixel and pixel selection, feather, and do by 1 pixel. Actually, I feather by 0.5, so let's do 0.5. Apply that, and then now I say my macro says I have to inverse and then delete. So the same thing, pixel selection, invert to invert that selection, which is Control-Shift-I. So invert the selection, and now I can go ahead and just zoom in so you can see. I can go ahead and delete, and it deleted that the white halo. So now I'm just going to do the same thing, control, click on the layer, but now I can just run my trusty macro and it's going to do the same thing. So it's going to remove 2 more pixels from the edges. So I am super excited. So now we've just cleaned the asset. Now I can go ahead and use this asset for card, which I usually do. I create a card, and usually I also create a pattern with the asset. The other thing that we can do is just go ahead to the here in the assets, or if you don't have it available, as always, just go to the window. But this time it's a little bit different. Now you have to go to the, actually it's in general. So here in general, because it's applicable to all 3, you can find your assets, your brushes, your color, history, and layers. So it's a little bit of looking at these, because sometimes you'll find like the histogram and the library and the macros are under the pixel, and then in the vector you'll find the symbols. So we'll do that when we create the pattern here. So let's save these cleaned up artwork, and let's just go ahead and drop it into my assets. And it just takes a little bit because it's a big file. But now in the meantime, okay, so it's there, it's in my assets. So now I can just go ahead and file, new, and if you already went through the file and import from V2, you'll be able to see all your presets already upload it here. If not, I'll show you one more time how to do that, but otherwise you'll see all the new presets. One thing that I like is I like these RGB, red, green, and blue, and the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black for the CMYK. So the colors is an indication of which color mode you're using, so I like that. And I have my trusty standard presets that I had already created, so I'm just going to go ahead and select those. But here I like these document settings that you can create a new preset. You just enter the title. Let's create a different one. Let's try a different let's do 24 inches by 18 inches at 300 dpi. So I'm going to create that. So the document units is in inches at 300 dpi. The page width, I want it to be 24. The page height, I want this to be 18. And then color format RGB, color profile sRGB. And then I like transparent background, but some people don't, so just decide what you want to do, whether you want to create an artboard. I don't usually use artboards. Maybe I introduce them later when I want to select specific things. And here you can select a few more things. I like this multi-page. It's very useful if you're using if you're creating like a coloring book, or you're creating a journal pages where you need multiple pages. You just turn it on and you decide what's the format and how many pages you need. But we don't need that for now. We're just going to go ahead and create a new document. But first we want to save these as a new, I already had it here, the 24 by 18 inches, so I'm not gonna go ahead and create a new preset, but we're just gonna go ahead and create the new document. Okay, and then as I showed you in an earlier version, let's go ahead, and now we're in the vector, which is Affinity, what used to be Affinity Designer. And so let's do a big rectangle here. Let's give it the color, let's see, let's give it okay, this color. So, and then here in view, it's the clip to canvas, which is the backward slash in the keyboard. So just clip to canvas and then you can see it. And now, and the next thing, create another rectangle. And then let's make sure that this rectangle, I like these little, I love that they're floating and you can move them around. Now here, go to the selection tool, and here at the top you see the alignment, and I want to align horizontally and align vertically. And I'm going to, in the spread, yes, apply that, and now it's in the center, so I'm going to hide the large one. And then I want to make sure that this rectangle, it's the size of my canvas, which is this, actually we can just put it there, which is 24 by 18. Okay, so 24 by 18, and since it's the same color, we don't need the fill. And here we go to the stroke and select the stroke, and let's make it a little bit larger so we can see it. Now I turn back on, and let's do maybe a half drop repeat. So the first thing you want to do is here, go to your window, and I think it was in the vector here, and go to symbols, vector symbols, and now your symbol panel will show up. Here's the symbol panel. I usually like to have it around this area here at the top. And the first thing we got to do is now we create a symbol from the current selection, from the rectangle that we have. And now we just create the template for a half drop repeat, and you've seen some of these in my earlier videos in Affinity Designer V2, but I'm just showing you the process in the new version, Affinity Designer V3, because first of all, it's free and anyone can have it. And to me, it's fascinating because everything is in one single app. And in the past, I used to open Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher, all three, to do the full scope of my workflow. And now I can do everything in a single one, so I'm super excited and I want to share this with you. Okay, now in order to repeat this and create the rectangles needed, I just hit Alt and drag, and I should be able to create a new one. And the same thing, and we're creating a half drop, so it just drops half, and then select it again, add it, Alt again, and then one more time. Okay, make sure you see all the green lines and the red lines. Make sure that everything is aligned. I want to do the same thing on this one because I don't remember. Yes, okay. So now this is the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the other layers for all the other rectangles and group that one. And this is going to be called repeats. And this original one, it's the actual pattern, and which is the tile that we are going to export. So now, super exciting, we just create a simple pattern. Let's go ahead and do that. So I have my cleaned up artwork, and I just want to go ahead and put it here in my pattern. And now I want to hide the well, not yet, maybe not yet. I want to put it in here, and then I'll go ahead and repeat, hit Alt and drag, and you'll get another version of it. I used to have like this transform, we can flip horizontal. That's kind of interesting. And let's see, that looks good. We're just working on a simple pattern just to show you the workflow, that it's the exact same thing that I've showed you in the version 2 that you can do in version 3, but probably a lot easier before. So I'm super excited, maybe you can tell. Okay, so on this one of the things that I like to do is to go ahead and add adjustment. I like to use saturation and lightness, and let's just change only the yellow. Let's see, there's a lot of orange in there, so it's going to affect it a little bit, but I don't want to change these other ones that are very dark orange, so I'm just going to move these just over here, and I don't want to change too much of the green either of my leaves. So let's see, just trying to see what that's going to do. Okay, it's mostly changing, but it's changing both. I don't want to change both. I think this is it's interesting, and I like kind of like that, but I don't want it for both of them. I just want one to have this different color and one to have this different color. So I also on this one maybe change the vase colors on these tealish colors. So it's just, I don't want to change any more of the green, so I'm going to try to remove that, and let's change the vase color now with this. Let's see, okay, I like that. Let's see, I kind of like this one, maybe it's a little bit too much. Yeah, still hold on. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Okay, so close these, hide my rectangle because I don't need it anymore, and now I have half drop repeat. I think it needs a few more. I think it needs something. I haven't used these mangoes yet, so let's see, where did it go? And then maybe the lemons. And this is all cleaned up art, so let's see how it's starting to look. Kind of like that. Let's add another lemon over here, and I think it's missing something, so maybe here, and another one of these. Okay, I kind of, it's interesting, different. Now I can hide the rectangle and I can hit that clip to canvas, which again I'll show you in view. Clip to canvas, and this is my tile. This is what I have to export. So again, backward slash is the clip to canvas, and that looks interesting. And the next thing we want to do is to export. So here at the top I'll go to slice, and if you don't have it originally, you click on the three dots and then here go to slice and turn it on. And here in the slice, what I want to do is to give it a slice name. So I want to use my watercolor flower base, mangoes and lemon. Okay, and then here I'll just click on the plus sign. I want to export, let's see, two sizes. I want to export, this is 24 by 18, so I want to export one at that size, and then that's fine. Here I click on the actual name, and I want the document name, which we haven't given it a name yet, so it's going to be that image something. I want to add here like 300 dpi, and slice name and scale. Okay, hit done. And then here I want to add another export, another JPEG, but instead of 1x, let's say 0.5x, and it's going to give me at 50%. Okay, so then so one thing, because I use this often, here in the export, the next thing that we can do is go ahead and save this export as a standard export. So it's going to be here, click on the arrow, click on where it says create export setup preset, and let's see these, it's 1x and 0.5x JPEG best quality, and then now you save the preset. So the next time you don't have to create this. All you have to do is just go here to export presets, and here at the bottom you'll find it, and then you can just go ahead and click here on the large one. Here's where you click on export all formats of this item, and you'll export your tile, your pattern tile. Let's do that. So here, well, let's put it in these October scans for now, and let's say export, and then here when you go to our October scans, then we have both. We have the mangoes JPEG file at the original size, and mangoes and lemons 0.5, which is half the size, and the JPEG file. So that is exciting. I hope you follow the process, and it's not very different from what we were doing before in the version 2 of Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo. So I'm super excited to have everything in the one app, that I don't have to go from one app to the next, and I think it does add a little bit of efficiency to the process. So first of all, super excited about it. There's some new features that I still want to explore, so as I get to explore them, I'll show you a few more things in this process. But now go ahead, use your watercolor art, download the free version of Affinity, and create patterns or cards or anything you want to create. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.